This Central Valley is probably the single densest area of agricultural production, certainly in the country and probably on the planet. We depend on nitrate to grow our food. It's used as fertilizer. A little bit of excess nitrogen over 150 years adds up to be a lot of nitrogen, and it seeps into the groundwater. But it finally reached a level where it crossed our safety threshold for drinking water. And once you're across the safe drinking water threshold, you run out of options. You have to do something about this, and you have to do it now.
Large cities, those water systems are all regulated for nitrates, and if they didn't meet those water quality requirements, they put in treatment, or they found another water supply, they solved it. In small rural communities, they don't often have the same infrastructure. And in those areas, it's much more difficult to fix a distributed problem that affects lots of different people in lots of different wells than it is one system in a large urban setting.
What we're trying to do with CV Salts is to figure out a way in which we can keep generations of farmers in business producing the food and fiber of the valley and protect water quality as well.
Regional Water Quality Control Board for the Central Valley adopted a basin plan amendment to their water quality control plan, which says we seriously expect people to have a plan for how they're going to demonstrate compliance with the water quality standards, including nitrate in this region. Frankly, anybody that uses water or releases water is going to be affected by these new regulations. And so they're in the room trying to figure out how they can work together to solve the problem.
So I think at the end of the day, we're going to have to put some sort of regional approach to doing this.
The issue and the problem that we face in groundwater has occurred over decades. And we are where we're at because of lack of action. We need to address the water quality problem in the groundwater. We also need to do it in a way that farmers like myself and my son can continue to farm.
So the new basin management plan for nitrates has two options available. One of them is the same old option that's always existed, simply meet the drinking water standard at your point of discharge. So for the vast majority, that's not really an option at all. Option two, the new option available, is to form management zones.
So the concept of a management zone is all of the people inside of that geographic boundary work together to provide drinking water to those who don't have quality drinking water. In exchange for that, they get flexibility in how they meet the nitrate requirements, therefore giving them both financial incentive and the regulatory compliance to be able to continue farming or continue their wastewater treatment plant.
Rather than the state coming in and saying, this is how you comply, what we're proposing is for the local areas to join together and figure out how's the most efficient way for you to comply and achieve this goal, which is safe drinking water and an economically viable Central Valley.
We have a couple of areas that have been working on this now for a year or two, and they're teaching us from their experience the problems they run into that we want to avoid in the future so that it's less expensive and easier for the next ones to do it.
And so I think the first steps have really taken place in this process, is understanding those. Now we have to actually implement it.
I think the really fortunate circumstance that we have is that our world-class nitrate problem in groundwater is matched by world-class agricultural operations, world-class dairy operations, world-class wastewater treatment operations, world-class scientists. So if anybody can solve this problem, we can. You'll end up with a pretty good solution a lot sooner that works a lot better than you could possibly imagine.